into a world where stories unfold, secrets unravel, and dreams come alive. Every story has a legacy. Every legacy holds the power to inspire. A unique interview series that celebrates the lives of Nigeria's elder statesmen and women through their remarkable journeys in the military, diplomacy, public service, academia, medicine, and beyond. Conversation that transcends generations, offering guidance to youth leaders, diplomats, technocrats, and future change makers. We unveil the wisdom, resilience, and achievements that shapes our nation and the world. Join us every Sunday on Voice of the People television. Reminiscence, legacies that leads the way, stories that lives on.
Hello and welcome to the Friday edition of the Locker Room on Voice of the People TV. I am Jerry Ampeliohai, and we've got a thrilling show for you today. It promises to be exciting as Mayowan Ikechukwu, who's here with me in the studio, are ready to break down all the action and share their hot takes on what's going down in the football world. And let's get into it as we advise that you stay tuned, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. Also, don't forget to call us via the WhatsApp number showing on your screen to join the conversation. All right, Ikechukwu, it's great to have you joining us once again. So much to talk about in the exciting world of football.
Good evening, Jerry, and good evening to our viewers. So good to be here again. Thank God it's Friday, and of course, after this time out, you're taking me to get some barbecue. Celebrate your wins, your wins as a Premier League champion.
I don't celebrate with my haters, those who didn't want us to win the league. You can go and celebrate with Arsenal when they win the Champions League. Fine and good, but leave it for winners. I don't celebrate people who are almost relegating. People from...
we rise by lifting others.
I don't want to leave people who are on the 14th on the table. Let's lift those who are from second, third, like people like Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa. Those ones are liftable. When you are 14th, it's difficult to start lifting those people. You guys have resigned your fate with your Onana, Maguire, and co. I think you are the king of comebacks when it comes to Europa League, have you?
At least prove to me that you're the king of comeback by buying me barbecue.
No, for you to... this young man, I think anyway, I'll prepare a special day for you that will come and,
It's barbecue.
No, I will barbecue you on this show. So that we'll just have a head-to-head. So we will now understand where we are going to. Anyway, my guest to join us virtually, and we'll be taking a look at matters arising as far as the Super Eagles and, of course, all around football is concerned. And the latest has it that South Africa may face a 3-point and 3-goal deduction from FIFA for fielding an ineligible player, Teboho Mokoena, in their World Cup qualifier against Lesotho. Mokoena was supposed to be suspended due to accumulated yellow cards and of course the potential points deduction should significantly impact the standings, potentially benefiting Nigeria in their quest to qualify for the 2026 World Cup. With a possible 3-point swing, Nigeria could close the gap to South Africa. For me, I think everybody is already excited about 3 points being deducted from South Africa. Even with that 3 points deducted, South Africa still look very good in terms of qualifying for the World Cup. We should not believe because they are deducting 3 points, South Africa will not still qualify. They are the best team to qualify. As far as the parents is concerned, the games they are to play, because their game against the Super Eagles, they are going to be playing it on their home turf. And the other games they are going to play, definitely they look good to take the 3 points and qualify for the World Cup.
True. I mean, the reason why a lot of persons are excited is the fact that South Africa now will be wary of the fact that they will not be going into every game with relaxation. I mean, if you go into games very much relaxed, you're most likely going to win them. But if you go into every games with agitation, they never, I don't want to make a mistake mindset, you most likely make mistakes. And that's exactly why people are excited. Nigeria is going to that, South Africa will be going into all of their games knowing that there is someone who is chasing them. And when they look at their back and see that the team that is chasing them is a team that has immense quality, it's going to be a very big problem. I think this 3 points is really going to do a lot to South Africa, mentally going forward. And that is if Nigeria keeps, knocking their games down. That's exactly where South Africa is going to have real big problem. So, but yes, advantage for them is the fact that they're going to play on their home turf. But again, another matters arising. A couple of days ago, you talked about the fact that South Africa, Rwanda, will be playing, will not be playing their games, in South Africa. That's again, Zimbabwe rather will not be playing their game in South Africa. That's again is another very big boost for the Super Eagles. So if you look at all of these complexities, you know that yes, it's going to be a very big problem for South Africa mentally, because they've been so comfortable, going into they have the mindset of being comfortable going to the last rounds of the game, which is the last 4 games. But then taking off their point at this point is really going to impact on them mentally. So it's now behoves on Nigeria to actually take advantage of all of this mental setback from FIFA if the point finally get deducted. To actually win all of their games and put more pressure on South Africa. And eventually, if Nigeria can actually defeat South Africa, or if South Africa even gets to actually draw a game, right, or 2 games before, after they play Nigeria or before they play Nigeria, it's going to also be a problem for them. And if they even end up winning all of their games and lose to Nigeria, Nigeria will still go through based off head-to-head rules. So once it is 3 points difference, it's going to be a very big challenge for South Africa. Every game becomes, like a final, and no team wants to be in that position. Every team wants something like a sort of cushion that whatever happens in this game, I'm still very much comfortable as leader of the log. So that's where the problem for them definitely will arise. But it's now builds on us to actually do our own job, right, and then get all of our maximum points, maximum 12 points at the end of this last 4 games.
The Confederation of African Football has stated that they won't interfere with FIFA's decision. And previous cases have resulted in similar penalties for teams feeding ineligible players. I think that's a good decision coming from CAF.
Yes, I don't think it's a good decision. I think it's more of the power that is running CAF at this point want to actually not want to be seen as someone who actually penalizes people. Because trust me, this is also a game that.
But CAF has not said it's a FIFA case.
I mean, it's yes, it's a FIFA case, but it is organized by CAF. CAF has, a level of influence. I mean, it takes nothing from CAF to actually say, what, here's what happened. This is the petition, FIFA, ruling. You don't have to stay neutral. It's
okay. If they now say this is the petition, okay, and trying to at least say that South Africa did no wrong, they should be pardoned because the CAF president is from South Africa, trying to influence it. Would that not raise eyebrows on the part of the fellow group runners, if they know that CAF is trying to play a role in trying to make sure South Africa gets a soft landing?
I mean, Jerry, it's no hidden that South Africa actually erred. The facts are there. We've seen it. Everyone knows that, okay, yes, there's an infringement on the rule, right? Now, what stops CAF from saying, hey, FIFA, this is what happened. This is the evidence. Do what you need to do. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they should go there and now, I mean, just present the fact as the body.
As a CAF president who is from South Africa.
Exactly my point.
Who will now be the one that will go and report his own brother? Like, the brother committed. So being neutral is the best way.
What?
Because, okay, who is the CAF executive that will take the bulls by the horn and go and report the case and be following up the case when the guy at the top is a South African?
Jerry.
Who will carry out that message? That's the question.
Exactly what I'm saying. That Musepe is just trying to actually, you know what? I don't want to be part of this because my people are involved. I mean, there's nothing. We are not saying Musepe should.
Politically, it's even dangerous for him to even spearhead or even want to.
Exactly. We are not even saying Musepe should go there. There are rules. Right. There's a secretary.
If you are the secretary to Musepe, would you carry the file and say, FIFA, see what happened, and he will be aware, and your job will be safe? No, definitely not. Definitely not. A lot of things will be going into the consideration as far as that one is concerned. Of course, we'll take a look at more stories now where the Super Eagles, we know, are preparing for a four-nation tournament in England come what may in the month of June. And we understand that it looks like the likes of Ademola Lookman and Victor Osihmen might not be available for the one against Ghana. And of course, there's also Jamaica as far as the four-nation invitational tournament is concerned. And if that happens, I think we should not be worried that Ademola Lookman and Osihmen will not be available. These guys should be natural starters for the Super Eagles. We want to see other strikers doing something different, giving Coach Eric Chell options.
About yes, young that's actually yeah. I mean that's that
and Ghana a few days should also see play
coming on demand it on 20 be executing this nations this four nation tourney against are actually not nations that are bigger than us in terms of football ranking. In fact, we are bigger than them in terms of football history, right?
even the rankings.
Yeah, so these are not sort of games we want to see, our big guns come into play. We want to see players who we've not seen. Like I was saying before, players like Arokodare who barely saw in the last game against Zimbabwe. Another players who actually, the likes of Ogbu that were invited that were not given chance. This Felix that we're talking about. All of them should now come in. Let's see what they can actually give us. Let's see, how much of a synergy they can actually build in this short space of time. So that when we are going into the last the next doubleheader in September, we should be able to say, okay, if this guy doesn't turn up, we've seen this guy's quality. This guy can actually, complement this one, and this guy can actually give this guy a good run for his money. I don't want to see any of those players, not even Brian Osai Samuel, not even Bruno Yemechi. I want to see players who we've not seen before. Let's get a fresh breath of air. Let's see how much of a team from scratch Eric Shearer can build. Because yes, we know the quality of all of these ones, right? That's why some of us can actually, get laid back when it comes to giving Richard his credit as regards what he has done with this team so far. We want to see him build a team that we've not seen before and how they can actually play and win games. And perhaps I hope that these guys can actually even go all the way in that particular tournament, win it, so that it's going to serve as as a confidence booster for them coming into the next game and then joining the other guys in Super Eagles camp.
All right, we understand that Maiwa is with us after so many days of consoling Ruben Amorim and his boys that at least they survived the relegation drop. And of course, I know he was in the group chat today when his so-called Man United fan was blaspheming. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Maiwa, it's great to have you join us on Locker Room. We're just talking about the South Africans and the situation. CAF has washed off his hands, just like Pontius Pilate did, and during the time of the persecution of our Lord. But it's great to have you join us.
Well, it's always amazing to be here. Almost 2 weeks now, you have refused to congratulate Manchester United for getting to the semi-final of the Europa League. But in any case, congratulations on winning the league, by the way.
All right. It is well. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I mean, I came in when Ikechukwu was talking about the Four Nations tournament, and he was talking about we don't want to see any established player in that particular tournament. We want to see new players actually genuinely fight for the shirt. I think if HL is trying to use the players that we are used to, I think we'll be making a big mistake, and he will be throwing away the opportunity to be able to see the other players play, because you can't want to give players debut in a high pressure match, in a high stake match. It's not possible. We have tried with Gabriel Osho before. The pressure was too much for him and he almost caved under the pressure. This kind of competition will give us a room for us to be able to test out our players and see the players that we are not used to seeing playing for the Super Eagles. This is an opportunity for them to showcase their talent and lay a claim to a spot in the national team. And this is where the competition will start from. Not that when we have an high pressure game and you are under pressure to get results, you have to fall back on players that are already established. I hope HL will not make the mistake, and want to have this mentality of I want to win this Four Nations tournament at all costs and end up featuring majority of players we have known. I just hope it doesn't make that mistake and actually uses players that we have not seen, so that we can have an option for our so-called established player. And that is the way forward for us to actually build a team and for us to have a team or have players that should be able to step up should in case something happen. Case in point, we had no option than to feature a Trustekong that was injured in the last qualifier, and look at what that has got us. That cost us 2 points, which might probably hamper us from qualifying for the World Cup in 2026.
Yeah, and of course, talking about the itinerary of the competition is already out, and if you take a look at it, Ghana, Nigeria plays their first game on the 28th of May, and Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago will also play a game a day before that day, and whoever wins out of those two games will meet either in the final or the semi-final of what it has been tagged the Unity Cup out there in England. If you take a look at the competition for sports, as far as that one is concerned, Nigeria should be on top as far as all of these teams is concerned. But definitely you will not want to write off the other teams, because football is 90 minutes and it's 11 against 11, Maiwa.
Well, definitely if you want to quality we possess and the kind of players we have, you want to give Nigeria that opportunity to do what we think is going to do, bringing in players that have not been tested before for the Super Eagles, and that comes with a lot of added pressure. So definitely, in this kind of particular game, yes, those players might have their quality of their own, but in this kind of particular game, it comes with an added pressure owing to the if you do well, you're also featuring, you also have the opportunity to feature with the Super Eagles the next time we'll probably play, maybe in September when the qualifiers kickstart again. Also, if we are that good enough in terms of, our overall play, we will not be struggling in our World Cup group. We will not be one leg out of the World Cup competition. You cannot write off the Caribbeans. We know how the Trinidad and Tobagans, we know how they play. Ghana, even if it's Team B or the local guys from Ghana, even if they are the ones that will line up, the rivalry is always there, and they will not want us to, have a walkover over them. It's going to be an interesting game, and definitely we will need the players that want to play in that particular tourney to show up with their best foot, such that we don't get disgraced. If you go in that particular competition and fail because we are Nigeria, we are already there, we might be surprised, and that's the reason why we have to put in all the preparation to see that the team performs well. And we'll probably get a decent result such that we know that we are still a great footballing nation when we talk about football across the world.
All right, and of course, it's going to be the battle of the Jollof, Ghana Jollof versus Nigerian Jollof. It's always a derby when Ghana and Nigeria plays, and it's going to be in London at the G-Tech Stadium.
Yeah, I remember the last. I think the last time we played Ghana in London, I think in England was in the Fulham Stadium, the Grieving Park. It was called, and Nigeria actually grieved in that particular game. 4-1 is ended, and going back there in this particular game is going to be quite interesting. I want to see a whole lot of new players. Maybe Ghana might not really have a lot of expectations as regards their very very sad performance in the Nations Cup. So they might decide to actually feed in all of their best legs going into this one. They're also in the same situation that we are in, so it's an opportunity for us to actually take advantage of them. But then. This derby comes in with a lot of emotion. Nigeria and Ghana are like sworn brothers in different parts of the country, and we've always enjoyed this rivalry, and it's been healthy. Unlike our rival South Africa, it's going to be an interesting game. At the end of the day, let's get to see what happens. We want to see the very best of superstars from this part of West Africa. Hopefully, after this game, we begin to identify who will be the successful of the Super Eagles players and the ones we have currently, and of course Ghana also get to see players who definitely going to be taking their mantle perhaps in the next couple of years.
All right, of course, I can't wait to see what will happen in the battle for the African Jollof. I've not really, I think I've had a bit of taste of Ghana Jollof. I think the time I was in Ghana, was it 2009 or 10? Yeah. I still want to say that Nigerian Jollof is the best. I don't know that Jollof. I don't know where the competition even is.
I don't know. I had it. I had it in Songo. There's this woman, a Ghanaian, who sells Jollof, Ghana Jollof there. And then people were like, when I got there that evening, like, come on, come on. I was like, okay, let me even get to taste what this thing is like. I think it was in 2015 or so. And then we got there, and then they brought this. Trust me, and I was wondering like this. Where is the competition? Why? What is the hype? But of course, nobody go say Mama food no sweet. So that's exactly why I just left it, But then we know waiting be jollof and waiting be jollof.
Yeah, definitely. Mario, have you concluded in that contest in the battle of the jollofs?
The last time I had Ghanaian jollof was about I think about 19 years ago or thereabout. I don't know if it's the same person that Ikechukwu knows in Songo that I had the jollof from. There's one popular spot in Songo at that particular point in time, and I was able to taste the jollof. However, Nigerian jollof, there is a way to it. There is a taste to it. I don't think Ghanaian jollof come close. However, I would not want to judge on the basis of the only jollof from Ghana that I've tasted, and that's about 19 odd years ago. I've not tasted any other Ghanaian jollof. The person was not good enough, so I would not want to use that to judge, the whole of Ghana. I hope any Ghanaian listening to us can send a plate of jollof rice to the studio and let's test it out and see again.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a two cooking competition. We'll have a Ghanaian cook, maybe a Nigerian cook. Prior to that day, I don't know if they are offering. Maybe we'll come and they will bring the two jollof. We'll have a taste and see which one is better. Maybe from the Golden Tulip Hotel, they'll get us Nigerian jollof. We'll find a Ghanaian who can also do that for us. But it is what it is. Anyway, we'll wait and see. Anyway, as far as I'm concerned, though, Nigerian jollof is the best in the world. Forget it. You can take it to the bank and cash it.
The name Jollof,
Yes.
the origin tells you
It's
who
the
owns
Nigerian
Jollof.
language. So anyway, let's talk about one great legend himself. Talking about former Nigerian international Taiwo credits his performance at the Under-20 World Cup with paving the way for his transfer to Marseille. After a standout tournament with the Flying Eagles, Taiwo was awarded the bronze ball and caught the attention of Ligue 1 giant Olympique de Marseille. And Taiwo described his journey as a miracle, thanking God for the opportunity to play for a top club. He praised the team's coach for giving them freedom to play their best and credited the team's camaraderie for their success. We'll remember the coach of that team talking about the one and only Siawan, Samson Siasia. Those boys took the world by storm, and they were only stopped by Argentina in the final of that game. I was really sad that day. You know, since that day, I never liked Messi. Anything about Messi always upsets me because when I remember that 2005 game, the way he was busy, he was diving. That is just the truth. Those penalties were not penalties any day, anytime. If you take me to the court, anywhere, they are no penalties.
The first penalty was Messi.
Yes.
The second one was Aguero.
The two penalties, they were Argentina penalties. We all know them. They are very good at committing the referee.
Yes, they are
and
good.
the Flying Eagles were naive.
We should have gotten
Yes.
the penalty. Mikel, I don't know. Mikel got to the box. They were kicking him.
You see that the Flying Eagles players
he
were
was
naive.
showing
You know, the
muscle.
thing is that there are some coaches, they train players to be mischievous. They train players, you know, there was even a time Brazilian coaches, Argentina coaches, they train some of their players to be very rough. When the game is very tough, they can get one for the team, injure the best player in the opposition,
That's
get a red card.
that's how Argentines play.
But the Flying Eagles were there for fair play. The Argentina team came for everything, good or bad. We are going for the kill. And unfortunately, it was not a good day. But talking about Taiwo was a great competition for him. It was a revelation in that competition. I can never forget his shot. And at some point, we were dubbing him the next Roberto Carlos.
You know,
Yes. His game, his style of play was really defined from Roberto Carlos' style of play. And of course, his football career was also an interesting one.
I don't know if I'm going to say an interesting one. Okay, perhaps for him, but for the Super Eagles, I don't know. I mean, this was in 2005. As at 2010, Taiwo, I mean, there was no Taiwo anywhere again. Taiwo, as at 2011, we didn't even enjoy Taiwo. Nigeria did not enjoy Taiwo. I mean, from 2005 down to about 2015, we still had Mikel. About 10 years, still very much, you know, around, you know.
I think he was part of the 2006 Nations Cup team. I can't
Yes,
remember.
that was 2006, and I think 2008. But as at that time, it was almost, you know, out. I don't know. Taiwo became very slow after that. You know, on the 2020 World Cup, he went to Marseille. He had a very good spell.
Marseille. He was good at Marseille.
He had a very good
for
spell.
3, 4, 5 years. Yeah.
Until 2011, because from Marseille, you remember, I think he went to AC Milan. Yeah, he went to AC Milan from Marseille, and after that point, there was a decline. We could not even. I mean, no. You look back to Taiwo and start asking. This was the same time when the likes of Pablo Zabaleta was having a very good time, you know, in England for Manchester City. You know, Mikel. I mean, Messi was already at the peak of his career, and then you start asking, what happened to, you know, our Taiwo? I mean, it's not just Taiwo alone. If you remember the likes of Kennedy Chinwo, Dele Alli, these guys have played, you know.
Because the late Isaac Promise,
all these guys, and the other one that actually played the right back, I think Femi Ajilo. No, there's this Femi Adebayo. There's this guy that actually had an accident in Greece at some point. You know, all of these guys that were part of that team, there was nowhere. After that World Cup, give them 4 or 5 years, you cannot even pinpoint where.
Ogbuke still did very well. Himself. Apart from injury worries.
Ogbuke, yes, but see, look at that team. Between 2005 to 2011. That
even
team,
the goalkeeper, I'm trying to remember his name.
Van Zieken.
Was a king, yeah.
Van Zieken, the last time we saw Van Zieken was 2008. He could not break into the Super League. I understand Van Zieken's case because we had good goalkeepers. Vincent Nyama, Ejide, Ayenugba, so there was no
There
way.
was a certain player I really had hopes of. Solomon Okoro Unko.
You know, Solo, who was at Berlin at the point.
Yes,
all of these guys.
talent, yeah.
2011, you look back, you cannot even pinpoint and ask where this guy is at that point. I mean, for a team that got to the final, we didn't just get to that final. If you go back to that championship, we defeated, very good. We played against Brazil. Brazil that had the twin brother, the Manchester United twin brothers, in Fabio and Rafael in that particular championship, Tardelli and co. Nigeria defeated. We played against them in the group stage. They were in our group. It was a very good game. Nigeria controlled that game. And then you ask yourself, what happened afterwards? And then it goes back to the football development. How did we even select this team? Where were they? I mean, we know that Taita was already a big name in the Nigerian League before he went to under-20 for Lobby Stars.
All right, Maiwa, we all remember Taiwo. Definitely has gone back to talk about his story. And he made the move to AC Milan at a point in time. After his time at Marseille. He had a successful time at Marseille. You cannot take that away from him.
He had 2.5 seasons. He had two years and 6 months, great season with Marcel, and the rest was decline. AC Milan said, one of the hierarchy in AC Milan said, is worst left back they've ever seen, and that's just the honest truth. If you ask around, just ask about who they call Igo. It's a popular name. I'm not tying him to Taiwo, but there's a popular guy called Igo. I know him very well, like the back of my hand. The guy played in under-20 for Nigeria, and we all know that he was nothing close to 20 years old. And that is the reason why a lot of the players that play under-20, that is the reason why it's only Mikel that had a bit of longevity. A lot of them, the other person that would have had another longevity was Van Sekken, but he couldn't cut it. Van Sekken's retired. Two people that had, saw anything close to longevity. Majority of those that played that competition, there was there was wuru to the answer. That's what I would say. I will not say the other thing I wanted to say. There was wuru to the answer to them getting there. And that is the reason why that particular set, Messi is still playing till now. How many of those from Nigeria are still playing till now? And that goes back to what Ikechukwu said last. How did those people get there? A big name with Lobby Star. You already know how many years he has played in the Nigerian league. Somebody that I know like the back of my hand, he made it to under-20. And we all know
you guys are off that mic now.
You cannot cheat your way to the top.
Let's say Taiwo. Let's all start owning that mic now. Let's use the mic that says Taiwo had a good time. Yes. And he eventually had a successful spell at Marseille. Yes.
No, the problem with this sort of narrative is that, you will not encourage people who actually should be there. I mean, we'll continue having people who will come, serve their own family purpose, because at the end of the day, he makes his money, his family will become comfortable, but the Super Eagles will continue to experience this sort of, damage.
The thing is that players like Taiwo and so many other players in that team, they're not given the opportunity when they are very young to really succeed and achieve their goals in life. The Nigerian system is meant to frustrate catching them young. That's the truth. The grassroots does not favor the young lads. I've been to a grassroots, I started this sport thing, back in school. My lecturer made it a point, like a homework. Jerry, I don't want you to report foreign league, don't report the NPFL, don't report what's in the newspaper. Go to the grassroots and give me information what is happening in the local government, what is happening around town, as far as grassroots football is concerned. Coaches, when they want to pick players, when the players come, they will look at the player and say, how old are you? The player will say he's 20 years old. They will knock your head. By your stature, that is what they give you age. They'll say from today, you are 8 years old, you are 9 years old, you are playing under 9. Say it, you will say it, and you will accept it. They will baptize you with a new age. That's the side of the story. Then, after that, after baptizing you with that age, you have to live with that age for a while. Because if you admit and you are stubborn, you say you want to play at under 20, I'm telling you, give yourself 3 years time, nobody will be talking about you again. Whether no matter how talented you are, your football, they will say you're already old. You're no longer eligible. You are not sellable because you're already old. But when you reduce your age, you have an opportunity, a scout to come and pick you. And when the under 20 is picking players, mind you, you reduce your age by age. But before they will discover you, you would have been 25, but you'll be claiming 15. You imagine? So when you go to the under 20 at the age of 25, you will now, maybe if you succeed, before you know, you have only 3 years to play active football. And you can no longer compete with Messi because Messi came there at the age of 16 and 17.
Let me even add to what you're saying. There's this tournament that was played, a couple of years ago. I think it was around that 2003 or 2002, because I recall clearly when some of those big bros actually played in that particular tournament. They actually took them from Nigeria to Spain, so they were having a conversation. And after that 2005 tournament, that competition was played in Spain, and the Barcelona youth team, the Lionel Messi and co, actually won that tournament. They went there as players below 18, so it was an under 18 tournament. And then when they saw Messi, they were like, now this boy wey they run us for that match with this. Now this boy they run us for that match with this. Now those bros as at that time, this was in 2005 actually. Those bros as at that time, the youngest amongst them was very close to 40. As at that time, very close, maybe 37 or 38 as at that time. And they have some of their friends who actually were still in Europe at that point. Now, it boils down to, football development. What structure do we have in place for longevity? What is the strategy? What's the plan for players of 17, players that actually just left secondary school, played Principal Cup? Even in Principal Cup today, we still have this sort of things, mercenary, people who have left secondary school for about 2-3 years come back to play Principal Cup. I saw people like that, back, in one of the years, one of the Principal Cup years. So how do we even address these sort of situations? These are the questions. How do we address it? Because if we cannot look at ourselves and say, okay, a player who is actually 18 should actually play. Argentina squad that actually went to that under 17, 2005. A couple of them, the likes of Aguero, would have still been playing if not for his heart injury. Angel Di Maria played in 2007, 2 years after Lionel Messi played. He's still very much active. We have all of these players who can go back to their. Fabregas and David Silva played the under 17 in Finland 2003. We saw how their career progression till this point. I mean, players like Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo are very special players who can actually play at that level at that age. A lot of players at 35, they are already done, right? But then the question is this: when you look at all of these players, you will start wondering what really happened to us. Why can't we actually build a good succession plan? Look at Tayatawa. Tayatawa would have been a player that Super Eagles would have enjoyed for years. And you talk about players not giving opportunities early. The truth is, even if players like Tayatawa we end up missing on players like Tayatawa, there are a lot more players in Nigerian league and even in Nigeria today that are like Tayatawa, that are even better and are younger. Why can't we create a system that will bring these guys together and then groom them properly? These are the questions. I mean, look at Mikel gliding through the midfield of Argentina.
This team was a fantastic team, I must say, back in the day. And of course, Mikel marshalling the midfield. I don't know when we are going to see another under 20.
Mikel was so
interesting. Good. I think the Argentine team, they had no answers. No, the only thing they could do was to get penalties. Sincerely. And win this game. And those 2 penalties was just the difference between Argentina and the Flying Eagles.
Yes, of course. I remember before the final of that game, Siasia was, they were talking about who is going to potential golden ball winner between Mikel and Messi. Messi. And Siasia was like, he always wants Mikel to win it because he's his player, but he has seen that boy. That boy is actually very dangerous, and they're going to do everything possible to actually, ensure that he's quiet. And if you remember in 2008 in the Olympics final, Siasia learned something from what happened in 2005. Messi was largely kept quiet because for the very first time, he played a player who is he played our left fullback in the right fullback position because you know Messi like to cut in. So it was difficult for Messi until Messi had to drop into the midfield. You know, Messi gave Di Maria that pass actually ended the game.
Yeah.
Messi struggled in that game because it was difficult for him to actually break in. And that was a very big lesson he learned. And unfortunately, the same guy cost us twice, in this age grade category. But then, I mean, how do we even move past? I mean, as at this point, I want to believe that Super Eagles should have been producing a team like this consistently. But then, it's so sad.
At that point in time, coaches like Sam Sisiasa were given opportunities to pick the players they believe could do the job.
Yes.
And there was sincerity of purpose. And these players had a lot to fight for. They had a coach who understands what it means to play for age grade team and play for the national team. He sold the copy to them and they bought it. And these players were ready to give their all on the pitch. And you could see that they were naturally talented. They were playing for each other. And if that really happens, it's easy for these guys to conquer the world. And it's unfortunate that most of them didn't graduate to the Super Eagles. I was looking forward to having this team go to the Super Eagles.
Sincerely, everybody was looking forward to see this team as the next Super Eagles players. Everybody was, because
anyway, they also had a big competition in the Super Eagles because I think at that time we still have Wisi Oruma, who was still active, JJ Okocha, Kanu Wampo.
JJ was almost out because, of course, you remember Nations Cup 2006, JJ wasn't there. That was Mikel's baptism, and Mikel came into that game against Senegal when the game was locked, and Mikel unlocked the game. I mean, he actually he scored one, he gave us, the second assist via the corner kick.
And one thing that also derailed this team, and then at that 2006, we failed to qualify for the World Cup. Let's not forget.
We didn't qualify.
Yeah, that was also one thing
that was the Angola incident.
Yeah, the Angola incident. Okocha selecting matches to appear, and we're not able to build from there because another World Cup was 4 years after. So a lot of players were already fading out. I think Tari Taiwo never. Okay, I think he played in 2010 in South Africa.
Yeah, he played
eventually, and there was also another young man who collected the red card, Sani Keita.
Sani Keita the red card was in Olympics.
Was it in the
Olympics? Yes, Olympics.
Yeah, I think the game against Greece, Sani Keita collected the red card, and that was the end of his football career. Let's not forget that.
I think it was.
No,
he collected a red card, but I don't think it was at the World Cup. Where he went to stamp. Yes.
Anyway, that's a story for another day. Talking about the Flying Eagles, they are set to participate in the 2025 Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations, and former Nigerian international talking about Dosu Joseph believes the team will excel in the tournament. And let's not forget, this Flying Eagles is in the Group B and will play against Tunisia, Morocco, and Kenya. And I must tell you, it's going to be a difficult group for the Flying Eagles, because Tunisia and Morocco, though we saw them against Egypt in the friendly, but it's not going to be a friendly affair when the game starts, mostly against Tunisia and Morocco.
That they have the house in order. Majority of those in that particular team, for the Moroccans and the Tunisians, they're already playing, they're already top players in their league. And that is where we talk about system. However, this is an opportunity for us to be able to see our under-20. Let's see how good they are. Let's see how they can perform against these top guys. And let's see if we can be able to see one or two of them that will be able to graduate to the under-23, because it's been a long while, we have any resemblance of people graduating from a particular age grade to another age grade. It's more of after the under-20 goes down, the next time we are seeing under-23, majority of the under-23 guys will be fresh players, and there will be no record of where they come from. I just hope, there is a system in place that is, that is graduating players the way they are supposed to graduate, not the one that you just gather players from nowhere and you put them together and we have the team. Also, this will also help us in curbing the age fraud that has plagued our team. Yes, it's not everybody that succeeds. A typical example, Cinema Pongo of France was doing well in the age grade competition, but he couldn't cut it to the French national team. Yes, not all of them will do well. However, majority of those that are doing well they have a record of moving from a particular age grade to another age grade before they finally make it to the national team. I just hope we can have that structure, in place in Nigeria, such that, as time goes on, people playing for our national team will be people that we can trace their record to when they started under 17 till when they make it to the national team, and not what we have now, relying on foreign-based player or people who are taking Nigeria as a second choice when they don't have option in their first country of choice.
All right, time not really our friend, and of course the FA Cup this weekend, where Manchester City will be trading tackles with Newcastle. Talking about Nottingham Forest, I beg your pardon. And the manager Pep Guardiola believes that winning the FA Cup would not restore the team's reputation after a disappointing season. I understand that win or draw for Liverpool this weekend against Tottenham, the league title will be theirs. I know you didn't want to hear that, but that's the fact.
I've congratulated you.
No, you don't have to congratulate me, but
you don't want to accept the congratulations because you don't want to buy me barbecue.
No problem. Anyway, if you take a look at Man City season, winning the FA Cup, is it going to at least salvage the season for them?
I don't think so. I mean, I agree with Pep Guardiola. They've gotten to a level, they've gotten to a height where the FA Cup, winning just the FA Cup after an abysmal season is not good enough. If they had a good season, perhaps coming, falling short of the league title narrowly and then winning the FA Cup, that would have been, a good season for them. But he's looking at it from the point that we had a very terrible season. This is not the level we should be operating at, and I quite understand. They are not that, that team that will be looking at winning one piece of a silverware after a long while, then start celebrating. They're a big team.
All right, so of course, take a look at the messages on YouTube. We have Olugbenga Bamidele says that there will be so many hand washing with this SA's case. So that very, very interesting point of view there. And of course, he points out that Ekon's club losing games weekly. He said that Chelsea should check in with him, check in for the friendly game. And this one, Hope Balogun says, who are some of the players to expect the call-up? Okay, don't worry, I don't have the list yet. But when the list comes out, we'll tell you as far as that one is concerned. My wife, we have to go. It's going to be a great weekend to look forward to.
Trying to play mind games. If you see the celebration for winning that particular game, you will know that the FA Cup is very, very important to them. But in any case, I don't want Man City to win. I hope Nottingham Forest does the magic and beat Man City for me over the weekend.
You know, won't sleep for this. If let's say house don't tire you.
Don't worry, it is well.
You get plan. You get where you won't go. You get where you won't go. Then make it define when Man City lose.
Don't worry, we'll report your update here. Any update, we'll follow up.
Don't worry. Continue.
A certain Ghanaian is watching us. His name is David Ando. If I'm correct in that pronunciation, he says that Ghana will win. Okay, we'll see what will happen. You're a Ghanaian. Okay, let's wait. May is around the corner. We'll see how that pans out for you. And of course, as far as the battle between Nigeria and Ghana Jollof is concerned. Big thanks to all those who joined in, and big thanks to our guys behind the scene, talking about the lives of Jeremiah and of course Ikechukwu, not leaving out Paul and our man. Talking about the young lady Adura was also being behind the scenes. My name is Jerry Apila saying have a great weekend.